Before we begin, don't ask about this. I'm a dumbass and I hurt myself. So this is just sort of an improvised splint I have on my thumb. Pay no attention to the thumb. But I'm alright. Anyway, thanks for caring. Today's video is going to be a video I've been meaning to do for a long time. It's actually a sequel. My very first video I ever did was my Lucasfilms Limited VHS collection, which was the special edition boxed set for the Star Wars trilogy and the normal edition box set full screen for the Indiana Jones trilogy. As you can imagine, the DVD, Lucasfilm Limited DVD collection, is quite a bit bigger than that, because of titles that we did not buy until DVD was the Prime had taken over, and several things that weren't released on VHS, so. And like I'd said in that video, I love my DVDs, don't get me wrong, we'll see a Lucasfilm Limited DVD collection video eventually. And here it is. And let's say we start with what we started with in the VHS one, which is none other than Star Wars, the trilogies. Now, since these releases, there have been more releases of both trilogies. And at the time we got these, there was not a box set for the prequels yet. And actually we got these one at a time as they came out, so that's why they're not in the box set. Of course they came out with the slim case editions, trilogy box sets for prequels and originals, but with not as many extras, I don't think. I'm not sure, actually. Maybe someone who knows that could fill me in on that. And then, of course, this September, Star Wars is making its way to Blu-ray for the first time ever in a prequel set, an original set, and a complete saga set, which is what I will be getting. It's on my Christmas list already, priority number 1, and I will replace these, and I will do, when Holiday Video Series 2011 comes, that will be the big ticket item. Or should I be telling you that? I don't know. Anyway. We'll get into the original trilogy box set in just a moment, but for now we'll set it to the side and look at the individual prequels. I am with the majority of the crowd when it comes to Star Wars. I love the originals to death. And I'm a huge nerd for these movies, and I love the original Star Wars movies. Now, when comparing the 3 prequels to the 3 originals, all 3 of these prequels are pieces of crap and can be set aside, no one cares, these. But, looking at these movies on their own, not comparing them to these ones, most people say Revenge of the Sith is the best, then Phantom Menace, then Attack of the Clones, which I agree with pretty much everyone in that Attack of the Clones is the worst and is an absolute worthless piece of garbage. But I actually, for me, these 2 are flipped. I actually like Phantom Menace better. And I couldn't tell you why, other than, I don't know, I just felt like the time it was made, it gives off the feel and the essence of the original trilogy the most out of any of the prequels. And, but most of all, what ties it all together for me is Mr. Liam Neeson, amazingness. He, without a doubt, gives the best performance, not just of that movie, but of all the prequels. He's a terrific actor, and, most of the acting in this movie is really flat and wooden and bad, but Liam Neeson brings it together. Also Ray Park, who has maybe 2 lines. But he is awesome because he is Darth Maul and we love him. Stop. No barking. Stop. Okay. So yeah, I like Phantom Menace the best, then Revenge of the Sith, then Attack of the Clones. And you know what, to all you Jar Jar haters out there, I really don't have a problem with Jar Jar, to tell you the truth. I like Jar Jar. I think he's great comic relief. And, you know, same deal with Short Round once we get to Indiana Jones over here. I don't get the Short Round haters. I don't understand it. You know, I love Short Round. But anyway, let's dive into these, because this is probably going to be a long video with all the stuff I got over here. You can see up top, every saga has a beginning, and then your poster, and then there's the spine, and on the back, trying to eliminate glare, pod race, and open up, and you got 2-disc edition with your booklet, which basically just opens up once. It's got another little insert in here, and then on the back you got the scene selection back there. And then disc 1 you got Darth Maul, and disc 2 you got the duel. Okay, now we get to Attack of the Clones. My God. Right, I mean, it's got redeeming values. Boba Fett, or sorry, not Boba Fett, Jango Fett. He's a redeeming value of this movie. Widescreen up top, and then digitally mastered, and you got your poster, and you got on the back with the clones invading. Yeah, I mean, visually, the prequels are just, you know, they're great. Big battle sequences and stuff. I mean, the prequels look spectacular. You know, they look like great sci-fi epics, but, you know, that does not make up for the lack of good writing and character depth and acting. And as I said before, Liam Neeson gives the best performance of the prequels, but let's not forget Samuel L. Jackson and Frank Oz, who also give the other 2 best performances. And Natalie Portman, look where she's gone since these movies. Look where she is now. And she's actually a good actress. She has proved since these movies that she is a good actress, but these movies certainly did not help her reputation starting out. And then once again, we have our little book. Saga is complete up top there. This is a better poster than this. I mean, that should be the cover. And then your 2 discs. And once again, it opens up once. A little bit of reading, the contents of the special features, I guess it is, and then the scene selection. And that does it for the prequels. Now we get to go into the interesting stuff. The original trilogy box set. Oh yes, I got this. This is something I treasure because I got it as a birthday gift when I was a little kid. And it's really interesting because that VHS box set I showed you of the original trilogy, my brother actually got as a gift when he was a little kid, and I got the DVD one when I was a little kid, so it's nice. A lot of people complain about the redone versions, and I'm sick of it. You know what? Theatrical versions is fine. I don't have anything against them. You know, I didn't get pissed about, you know, them putting Hayden Christensen in the end of Return of the Jedi. Or, you know, looking back at these now, I mean, a lot of the visual effects on the ships that they redid actually weren't that good, because it was 1997 at the time. They kind of look like bad video game graphics. But that's like only the ones that they added. The ones that were there to begin with, of course, look great and convincing. But, you know, some of the stuff, it looks like they didn't put, you know, either they didn't have the technology or they didn't put the time and care into it that they should have. And you got some great artwork here. Spectacular. But either way, what I was getting at is that I prefer the refurbished versions of the original trilogy. you know, it's not a big deal to me. I don't fuss about not having the originals. And, you know, they do have the originals now. Now, granted, it's not a proper widescreen, anamorphic widescreen presentation of them. But, you know, whatever. And people are saying, well, when the Blu-ray comes out, it better be the theatrical cuts. And, you know what? Hey, I hate to break it to you, but he's not going to release the theatrical cuts on Blu-ray. If he were, he would release them and the refurbished ones, but he's not going to release just the theatrical ones. That's not the George Lucas I know. He's he too much doesn't care what people say to do that. So, you ever notice that? Lucas sort of just does whatever the hell he wants with his franchises. Sometimes it's for the good, sometimes for the bad, but he really doesn't listen to the fans that often. And you know what? I don't mind either way. You know, I just like the movies. Alright, period. But these are the ones that I grew up watching. So, the refurbished ones, that is. And of course, here they have the new posters on the box, and then the original theatrical posters on the discs, which is really cool. And I've looked at the photos for the new Blu-ray box sets coming out, and they look gorgeous. They've gone back to the good old hand-drawn artwork for the cover art that they used to do like on a VHS set that I showed you, rather than, you know, these DVD covers where they basically just use, you know, Photoshop or clip art or whatever to take pictures of the individual characters and stuff. And I don't like the DVD. I don't like DVD posters in general. I think they're really not worthy. I think I don't not worthy. I just think I like the theatrical posters that they show at the movie theater better, and I wish they'd use those as the covers. No barking. You know, like this. I'd rather this be the cover. And then once again, these do not fold, they're just scene selection and a cool stylized piece of artwork there. And then we get to the bulk of the set. The main reason to buy this set is you can get the movies separately. The bonus material. Terrific. I hope they include everything from this, you know, and all the features from the prequels. I hope they put it all in the Blu-ray Complete Saga set. Because, I mean, this is just loaded with extras. You know, just ask Zara Nizarak. You know, he's a big extras guy. And he also happens to be one of my biggest influences on YouTube for doing videos such as this. He got me into it. This is a fold-out here. And we'll actually talk more about him in just a bit when I get to Indiana Jones. So, that takes care of Star Wars. And more recently, I've actually been keeping the box like this, with the titles facing out, so I can see them on my shelf.